So I read from my book, The Way of Nagomi, the part where I discuss Sodoku. Sodoku is a really wonderful Japanese way of learning, and it's related to lifelong learning, and it's really, uh, well uh, kept and underappreciated wisdom of Japanese culture, I think. And I will read what is Sodoku is all about from page 124 to 115 and so on. Sodoku simple reading is the traditional way to start a robust learning curve that can continue for one's lifetime. In Sodoku, one reads a venerable classic text aloud, typically imitating and following the reading of the sensei. It is important to realize that you don't necessarily have to understand the meaning of the words in order to start Sodoku. The core idea of Sodoku, not to be confused with Sudoku, which is a logical puzzle involving numbers, is that what you read out loud is something that is guaranteed to be a really great resource for your lifelong learning, even if it might not be necessarily accessible to you cognitively from the beginning. Traditionally, Chinese classics such as Analects of Confucius and Records of the Grand Historian by Sima Quinn, as well as Japanese classics such as The Tale of Genji, have been used as materials for Sodoku. It is a core practice of Sodoku to read the original text directly, not its interpretations or annotations. Thus, your mind is challenged to establish Nagomi with the real thing from the very start. Age is not important in Sodoku. In learning Sodoku style, you completely ignore the grade system of schools. You tackle the most enigmatic and profound classic texts by reading them aloud without necessarily understanding what it means, starting at the tender age of, say, 5. This approach, which establishes a Nagomi between the most profound texts and a very young mind, is perhaps Japan's best kept secret in lifelong learning. At its core, Sodoku is a great way to stimulate and then nurture our curiosity. As the brain is exposed to the brave new world of learning without any intervening context or explanations, curiosity explodes without limit. The curiosity spurred by Sodoku is pure and intense. It is a wonderful and effective way to start a learning process that can last for the rest of your life. So this is the secret of Sodoku, and it has been practiced in Japanese schools, especially in the samurai era. And some people argue that the tradition of Sodoku was what made it possible for Japan to catch up with the West in its modernization process. So Sodoku is a really important aspect of Japanese culture. The approach of Sodoku can be applied in cultures other than Japan. Why not start reading in the Sodoku style a world literature masterpiece that you always pretended to have read, but have actually never turned a page of, such as, well, À la recherche du temps perdu, In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust, or War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I think apt title at this time of the Japanese human history. And wherever you come from, there are works of literature that can kickstart your own version of lifelong learning. You could read in the Stoke style, for example, a Shakespeare play or a novel by Virginia Woolf or James Joyce. And you could have a child of 5 do the same. It doesn't really matter if the child does not have a clue about what he or she may be reading. It is simply crucial that the child has a feeling for what lies ahead, and a great challenge of learning that will continue throughout their life. So that is the part on Sodoku from my book, The Way of Nagomi, pages 114, 115, and 116. So please apply Sodoku to this book too. If you read it, I think it's a really accessible text, but if you read it and you don't understand it, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can do Sodoku for this really, really wonderful book. Thank you.